Hello, my name is Sherry Bailey, and today I was looking at different critical thinking incidences in nursing. The one that I particularly was looking at had to do with medication errors. So medication errors can sometimes happen. Errors in medication administration can occur through failures in any of the 5 rights: the right patient, the right medication, time, dose, and route. We do report all med errors, including what we call near misses. The critical thinking incident I will discuss has to do with a particular near miss that happened at my job. I think we report our errors and near misses in a computer program called Iris. I don't know if everyone uses that, but I'm sure it's different in different places. Anyways, the incident happened with a nurse that I was precepting. That particular incident happened while I was not there. The new nurse was put with a different preceptor for the day. The new nurse was obviously accustomed to the way that me and her did things, and all nurses do things differently. So when she was placed with this other nurse for the day, her routine was automatically different. It was messed up. It wasn't the same as usual. So what happened was, during the morning med pass, the nurse had her medications out and scanned for the patient she was going to administer them to. While she was giving the medicines, the nurse that was precepting her for the day came in and placed a bag of potassium that was for a different patient on top of her cow for later and left. From what I understood, she didn't say anything. She didn't verbalize any type of communication, nothing. She just left. So after the nurse gave the patient the medicines that she had already scanned, she saw the bag of potassium sitting on top of her cow and thought that she had forgotten to give it. So she hung and spiked the bag before realizing that the patient didn't actually have any potassium ordered and that wasn't for her patient. This is what we would call a near miss. Thankfully, she did realize her mistake before she actually infused the medicine. However, it could have been a very serious issue for that patient if she had infused that potassium. If you're nursing, you know that potassium can be very serious with heart issues and other things like that. So it can be a dangerous medicine. After this incident occurred, the appropriate steps were performed and it was reported, and the manager was notified, and the manager along with the preceptor and the new nurse all sat down and discussed what happened. I did evaluate the incident using the questions from box 5-4, but I did upload it in a separate document. That way I wouldn't go over time on this particular video. So it has the full evaluation there. According to that box, the total score that I got for that particular incident was 27. So according to the book Critical Thinking Tactics for Nursing, critical thinking may be insufficient, but consider other additional contributing factors. Meaning, yes, there could have been more critical thinking taking place. However, obviously, there were other factors involved as well. So from that, it's kind of obvious that something like this near miss, could have been avoided if there was more critical thinking involved. However, like we just said, there were definitely other factors at play. The first breakdown in safety that took place was that the preceptor should have never brought that medicine into her that was not for that patient that she was dealing with. That shouldn't have happened. The second pitfall was the lack of communication in general. Since the preceptor did decide to bring that medicine into her without saying anything, she should have verbalized that that medicine was actually for a different patient, and then made sure that there was 100% readback from the new nurse stating that she understood. And the last pitfall that I saw from the outside was that the new nurse should have realized sooner that she never did her 3 checks with that medicine. She didn't scan it at the bedside, and that it wasn't on the orders. Thankfully, she did realize, but it was almost too late, and it, like we said, that could have been a very dangerous situation. I do think that the main reason that all of these things happened, all these pitfalls occurred, had to do with the unfamiliarity between the preceptor and the new nurse. Had she been with me or someone else, not saying that it couldn't happen, but chances are they probably wouldn't have. Just because we know how each other operate, she was new with that particular preceptor, so, you know, there's a learning curve when it comes to being put with new nurses. So, The first thing that I would teach from a manager's standpoint is to always question what you're unsure of. Even if it's your preceptor doing it, if you're not sure, you question it. You should always be sure that there is clear, open communication with you and other nurses. 100% read back, like we said. If you're especially something like that, you need to make sure that you verbalize what is going on and that they verbalize back to you. And last but not least, you always follow your 5 rights of medication administration. And you always use your bedside scanner. If it's available, use it. Sometimes you're floated to other units where it's not available and they don't use bedside scanning. But if you're on a med-surg unit like we were, it's almost always available. So use it. I do think that if all of these things, these steps of safety were implemented, clear communication, 5 rights, and questioning what you're not sure of, it can prevent incidents similar to this from happening in the future.